Hey, what is good everyone, Chris here, welcome back to the channel, and today we're talking about Fujifilm XS10 again, but this time I'm gonna tell you why I'm gonna send this back. Alright guys, welcome to the channel. If you didn't subscribe already, please go ahead and subscribe. This is a channel that we're talking about photography and tech combined, and I'm trying to tell you what I'm using for my photography, videography, content creation in terms of gadgets, as well as cameras and lenses, reviews, tutorials, and so on and so forth. So let's get to the video because this one is gonna be a painful one. First of all, I put all the things on the paper because I wanted to tell you exactly why I'm sending the Fujifilm XS10 back, and that might be a little bit cumbersome for those of you who watched my full review when I was praising this camera, and I'm still praising it because it's an amazing camera. It's great, it's small, it's very portable, it has all the features and all the bells and whistles that you might need as a starter in photography, as a beginner, even as an advanced user. I bought it to use it for my YouTube channel, for these kind of videos that I'm doing with you guys, and also for vlogs and everything else that I'm gonna do outside when we're gonna be able to go. But apparently there are a few things that I can take in that easily. So let me tell you everything about it. First of all, I love the fact the camera is small, but for me it's a bit too small. And you can tell that almost two of my fingers are down here. I was looking for an option of a grip or something, you know, for shooting outside and for having a better hold on the camera, but there is nothing yet, and they'll probably come up with something, but for now there is nothing, and it is too small for me. I realize that, though it stays on this arm most of the time. When I'm grabbing it to shoot a little bit of a B-roll or something, I can get rid of this thought that it's gonna slip off my hand. It's a bit too small and too light for me, and this is the first thing. Now, another thing is that when you're trying to shoot photos or videos through the viewfinder, you'll realize that the viewfinder is a little bit too low of a resolution. It doesn't affect the shooting that much, and if you're not used with the X-T3 or the X-T4 or the X Pro 3, you won't probably feel any difference, but for me it is, and I feel that I shouldn't cut on quality, and because I'm used to that, I want to keep it that way. So now I'm shooting this video on the X-T3, and the X-T3 is an amazing camera. I will probably go buy another one, or maybe the X-T4, I'm not sure yet, but nonetheless, this EVF throws me back to when I was shooting Sony, the A6000, the A6100, 6400, and so on and so forth, and I don't want that. I want something that provides quality, and because I am used with quality, this is not for me. Now, another downside for me is the fact that it's built in a combination of magnesium alloy and plastic, and is, though solid and very, very sturdy, it does have a few flaws. For example, mine came with a play in this little viewfinder holder right here, the plastic piece, that it actually moves more than I would accept. And also the flapping door for the battery, it's flapping, it's a little bit too tight, let me say that, and it doesn't feel like it grabs every time when you're pulling this notch to open it. So yeah, these are just small things, but they're adding to whatever this camera can provide. And I don't want to, like I said, cut off in quality. I want to have the best of the best, especially when I'm trying to do videos for you guys. And we're gonna get to that in a moment. You probably know already that this camera uses the old 120S battery, the old Fuji battery that nobody is happy with because of the performance and because the fact that you can shoot more than 250 to 300 shots on it. Well, when I'm shooting video, I have to have my power bank always plugged in, and that is not a bad thing. The fact is that when I'm trying to, like I said, grab the camera from the stand and go out and shoot some B-roll or shoot a B-roll inside the studio, all the time I have to switch to two batteries because it actually eats battery very fast, and that is because of the IBIS inside. This camera has an image body stabilization inside of it. The sensor is stabilized, and that is amazing, but that won't provide much of a length when it comes to you know, battery time. So yeah, that is another downside. The XT3 also has the same battery, but I'm pretty used with that camera, and like I said, again, quality is the comparison that I'm doing here, and the fact that these videos have something to show, and I want to show what I can do with everything that I'm doing, and this camera holds me back a little bit. Now, the grip on this camera is very ergonomic. You can hold it with one hand. If you don't have big hands like me, this is gonna be perfect for you, but I want something underneath. I want a cold grip or an L bracket that I can attach right here. I'm pretty sure that some on the market, you know, Chinese companies that already make them, but I couldn't find any, and that is a problem, especially when I'm going out to shoot photos, or like I said, if I'm going out to shoot a B-roll or film something with my daughter with her gymnastics. I want to have that stability, and I want to make the camera a little bit heavier, and that is something that I don't have. Now, for some, this might not sound as a downside, but for me it is. This shutter button right here, it's the one that I wouldn't expect to see in a Fujifilm camera. And I know that this one resembles the X-H1, and I believe the X-H1 has the same button, but it's a bit too recessed and it's a bit too soft. And I'm taking photos without knowing. I'm just holding my index finger on the shutter button, and from time to time I'm just pressing it, and I have like 3, 4, 5, 15 photos on a session that are just blank photos, or I shot my legs or anything else. Well, that is something that, you know, for some of you, like I said, might not be a problem, but for me it is. Also, the on and off button, it's a little bit too hard to turn on. You can tell that it has a specific sound because it turns a bit harder. And when I have my camera on this stand in front of me, which is actually an arm that comes from my lining stand, every time I'm trying to turn it on, I have a problem. When I'm moving the camera, I'm actually changing the angle that I'm shooting, and that was the main purpose when I bought this camera, to be always on that thing when I'm not going outside to shoot. And you know, doubling with the angle all the time, it kind of bothers me. And because I'm at things that bothers me, another downside is the fact that the SD card is inside the battery door, the battery compartment, and yeah, it's not ideal, especially if you have it on an arm that it's a little bit flexible, and trying to pull it and drag it, you know, underneath. Also, I don't think it's a good idea to have the SD card next to the battery. If something happens with the battery, you're gonna ruin all the photos. I know that Fujifilm uses that in the XT3 as well, and that is, you know, something that they chose to do to cut off the expenses and create a new door and a new compartment right here on the side. But for a camera that is meant to shoot video and photo, this might be the best aps-c hybrid camera that I've ever shoot with. You know, small things for big people or big things for small people. That's what I'm talking about right here. But for me, it is a downside. Another two things that bothers me as well are in terms of design. One is the fact that this camera doesn't have an eyepiece. It's just a plastic thing right here. I chose to use one of my old rubber eyepieces that you can put in the cold shoe, and that's a good thing, but that we're gonna block the flip screen because it's a little bit bigger. And the other one, which is more important than this one, is the fact that we're missing the AF mode switch right here. The fact that I have to go into the menus all the time to switch from autofocus continuous to autofocus single to manual focus, it's a bit cumbersome because this camera doesn't have that many buttons, and though it is customizable to an pretty good extent, I believe that that switch right here wouldn't kill anyone, and I don't think it costs that much to put it on. But again, it's just my take. Everything that I'm telling you today, it's just my opinion. So that's why I'm trying to not motivate, but tell you why I'm sending it back. Maybe if you're thinking of buying it, you should take this in consideration. Now, the last one that I want to tell you about is actually one that I mentioned in my review. I don't know how many of you realize that, but this grip being deep and having more grip for the camera, it actually affects my fingers right here. And let me prove it to you. This is the 50 to 140, and this is even worse because if you're turning the color all the way up, I'm basically shooting like this when I'm shooting wildlife. This lens is not too heavy, and I don't need the tripod holder to have it underneath because it bothers me, the camera being small. I have to grab it like this, and I'm not steady when I'm shooting like this, so I prefer to have it on the lens. So as you can tell right here, this actually hits my finger very bad. It actually scratches my nail, and even when I don't have it like that, if I'm putting my fingers on, you can tell that they're very close to the lens. And this one, it's actually good because the aperture ring is right here, not close to the mount, and they won't bother much. This is a little bit softer and smoother area right here. But for the lenses who have that aperture ring here, this is very bothersome, especially for long sessions if I'm going to shoot, street photography and stuff like that. So yeah, these are my reasons why I'm deciding to send the XS10 back and probably go for something else. I hope this video helped you. I'm gonna regret sending this camera back because I love it. It's an amazing aps-c hybrid shooter. You can use it for video, you can use it for photos. It's very portable, it's very well made, and it has a great grip. There are a few things, like I said, in the construction that I think they can do better, and I believe that they will with the next iteration. But for me, the XS10 needs to go. I'm gonna regret it, but this is what life is, regrets and accomplishments. For me, this was an accomplishment, and I will regret it because of that. But I can't keep it, and I can invest $1,000 in this camera when I can buy another XT3 for the same amount and have another camera on the tripod all the time to film me and one to go out and shoot. Now, because I mentioned the XT3, I just remember another thing that actually bothers me, and that is the IBIS motor inside. That it's a bit noisy for my taste, and I think that I shoot with the cameras that had IBIS inside, and I never heard the motor that loud. And I'm not sure if you can hear it. And that noise, it's kind of low now, but wherever you're putting your lens on, you're gonna hear it more and more because the camera is trying to stabilize. I'm not sure if it's because the IBIS unit is small or because it's a flaw. Nonetheless, these are the things, like I said, that bothered me and that made me send the XS10 back. Again, I am very uncomfortable to do this video because I said that I love the camera, and I do still love it, but I just can't get through all these things that I don't like. So guys, thank you so much for watching these videos. Thank you for being here. Hopefully you're gonna subscribe to the channel more and more, and hit that notification bell to always be notified when I'm putting videos up. Put your comments in the box down below and let me know if you bought the XS10. What do you feel about it? How does it feel in hand? Do you get amazing results out of it? Also, what do you think that I should buy next and have it as my video camera? I was thinking about the XT4 or the XT3. Also, I'm thinking about another brand. So let me know in the comments below, and I will definitely see you in a bit.